Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Ethereum has hit my exact price target out of this descending broadening wedge, and we ran into that box of resistance that we were talking about yesterday, which has now resulted in Ethereum seeing a small rejection to the downside. But is that it for the rejection, or should we be expecting more downside price action? Well, in just a moment, I'll take a look at some other Ethereum charts and some new patterns that Ethereum holders need to be paying attention to right now. So definitely make sure you're watching this video all the way to the end so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, make sure to drop a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Ethereum to US dollar chart on the 2-hour time frame. And if you've watched my recent Ethereum update videos over the past couple of days on the channel, I've been talking about this descending broadening wedge pattern. And by the way, for the beginners out there, that is a bullish reversal pattern. And so basically, the moment Ethereum broke out to the upside with this successful retest confirming the breakout, at that stage right back there, I let you guys know that it's very likely Ethereum is going to head straight up to 4,600 US dollars, and that is where we're going to find our next point of resistance. In fact, yesterday I said in my last Ethereum update video, really between 4.6k and 4.7k is a range of resistance that I would expect Ethereum to run into and perhaps see a small pullback before continuing higher later on. You can even go back on the channel and take a look at my last few Ethereum videos, and the reason why I was targeting that exact range of resistance was simply because of this price target out of the descending broadening wedge coming in at 4.6k, and we also had this huge inverse head and shoulders pattern which was giving us a price target towards 4,700 US dollars, which is of course the top of that range of resistance that I was just talking about. And technically speaking, because Ethereum hasn't actually made it to 4.7k just yet, this price target is still currently active on the chart. But in the meantime, that range of resistance is acting as resistance for the price of Ethereum as expected. So obviously congrats to anyone that took that trade, because that was basically a perfect long position. But right now, because Ethereum has seen a rejection from this point of resistance, we could possibly look at some new re-entries into Ethereum. Now, first of all, while we're here on the 2-hour chart, just taking a look at the price oscillators, what we can see here is at the point we ran into resistance, we also slightly reached overbought on the 2-hour RSI, which was giving us a signal that we're due for perhaps a little bit of a short-term call-off. And once again, all of this is only on the small timeframes, talking about the immediate short term. And also we do have this small bearish cross on the 2-hour chart in the MACD, which is also signaling to us that we are due for a little bit of a short-term pullback. And the last time we saw these sort of signals in the price oscillators on the 2-hour chart was right back here when Ethereum pulled back from around 4,450 down towards around 4,150. But that was from top to bottom. If you're going from where we actually saw the bearish cross in the MACD, then at that stage up until where we saw the next bullish cross, that was around a nearly 5% pullback in the price of Ethereum. So let's just say from this bearish cross, a 5% pullback in the price of Ethereum would bring us down towards around 4,350. But that's just a little bit of speculation, considering that's only going off what we saw with the last bearish cross on the 2-hour MACD. Instead, I'd be looking at some Fibonacci levels, because right now Ethereum has been strongly respecting these levels. As you can see, when you draw out the fibs from this high down to this low on the 2-hour chart, we have the first Fibonacci extension, the golden ratio, which is the 1618 Fibonacci level, coming in at just above 4.6k, which is exactly where Ethereum topped out just recently. So that's yet another reason why this range of resistance is obviously strong resistance for Ethereum just in the short term. But with that being said, right now we are getting a small bounce from the 100% level when you're drawing the fibs like this, which is basically this previous high back here coming in at close to 4,450. But drawing out the Fibonacci retracement how we should be doing it, from this low up to the recent high, as you can see here, right now Ethereum is finding support along the 38.2% Fibonacci level, which is the second most important Fibonacci level, and that is coming in at around 4,450, which is pretty much exactly where that previous high was coming in at. Anything lower than that, we do have a little bit of short-term support at around 4.4k, but really below 4,450, the next major level of support is of course the golden pocket, starting at just above 4.3k, more specifically around 4,330. So those are the main levels of support that I'm paying attention to right now in the short term for Ethereum. But keep in mind, those lower levels of support obviously do not come into play for as long as we're holding that 38.2% Fibonacci level at 4,450. So those are really the main points of resistance in the shorter term for Ethereum that I am paying attention to right now. And now zooming out to the 4-hour chart for Ethereum, and interestingly enough, we have this upwards trending line of support coming in at around 4,450, which, as you can see, just zooming out a little bit further, this was huge support for Ethereum along this entire uptrend up until really this point back here when Ethereum started dipping below this level around a week ago. And since then, over the past 1 week, this upwards trending line of support hasn't really been as significant for Ethereum compared to at least back here, because you can clearly see that recently Ethereum hasn't been respecting this line very much. But when you're zooming in a little bit closer, there has been some point in time where Ethereum has seen, for example, a small bounce or point of resistance along this line. So this is still at least something to pay attention to, and adds to the confluence of those other support levels that we're just looking at. Now, the subscribers on this channel would already know about all of these red lines just here, but for any new viewers on the channel, these red zones on the chart are basically the weekends. That's the weekend price action for Ethereum. And to quickly summarize what I've been looking at over the past few days on the channel is basically looking at the weekend price action being a little bit more bearish rather than bullish, even in the middle of this uptrend. But that's only just on the weekends. And then when you're looking at during the week on the weekdays, the majority of this price action is leaning more bullish, meaning that if you've been simply buying on Mondays, then by the end of the week for all of these weeks so far, you would have made profits. And already this week is looking great. We're around halfway through the week. And from where we are right now, technically speaking, it is more likely that we're going to close the week at least at some point higher than where we opened the week, which by the way, we opened this week. We opened Monday at around 4.2K approximately. So for as long as Ethereum stays above 4.2K going into the weekend, then this trend of the bullish price action during the week continues for yet another week, which by the way, this would be the 6th week in a row worth of bullish price action during the week if you're counting the week before this first weekend that I've got mapped out here. Now, what's also interesting is even though all of these weeks were bullish and we closed the week at a higher price than we opened, there was still 2 weeks in the middle of this uptrend where we had a pullback in the middle of the week and still closed at a higher price than the opening price. And that was of course this week just here and this week just here. As you can see, during the weekdays, we had a short-term pullback in the middle of the week. And of course, both times Ethereum had a nice recovery. And this first time where we saw a pullback during the middle of the week, during the current uptrends that we are in right now, one of the major bearish signals that we saw back then was of course the RSI entering into overbought territories on the 4-hour chart, telling us that we are due for a little bit of a short-term cool-off. And then also having a small bearish cross on the 4-hour MACD basically acted as extra confirmation that we are in a short-term cool-off. But at that stage, when we saw that bearish cross, this pullback was pretty much already halfway finished. And now looking in the second example just here, instead we saw a bearish cross in the 4-hour MACD, which in this example, this bearish cross was a leading indicator before the bearish price action started. And so right now we're seeing something kind of in between the two. As you can see, we reached slightly overbought areas on the 4-hour RSI. So not as much as this first time, but more than this second time. And looking in the MACD, it does look like we're about to see a bearish cross sometime soon, especially if the current Ethereum prices remain where they are right now over the next 12 to 24 hours, then it's very likely that we'll see a bearish cross. But at this stage, the bearish cross in the 4-hour MACD is not confirmed. I want to make that clear. For example, if Ethereum sees a massive gain out of nowhere, then that can hold off this bearish cross for a while longer. But basically, as soon as we see that bearish cross, then at that stage, it's quite likely that we've already seen a little bit of a pullback like what we've seen just now. And we could be due for perhaps a little bit more of a pullback. But similar to this first time round when we saw the bearish cross, we were already around halfway through the pullback, getting ready for another great buying opportunity. So I also want to make that clear as well. On any of these pullbacks, I'll be seeing these as buying opportunities. Of course, that's not financial advice. That's just giving you guys an inside look of my Ethereum strategy, because right now it is very clear that pullback or not, Ethereum is still in a major uptrend on the bigger picture. So realistically speaking, these short-term call-offs, these pullbacks in the price of Ethereum have proven to be great buying opportunities, at least so far. So that would be a part of my Ethereum strategy moving forward, but there is an Ethereum pattern that could suggest we're about to see a larger pullback. But just before we talk about this brand new rising wedge pattern forming for Ethereum, for those of you that watched my Bitcoin update video, feel free to skip 30 seconds. But for those of you that did not see my Bitcoin update video, I have a huge announcement, and I'm sure you've already seen the changes in the channel art and the profile picture on the channel. And that is all to do with this project that I've been working on behind the scenes, which is an official cryptowrld website. And you'll find a link to this website in the description down below. And on this site, you'll find a complete technical analysis course, which is something that a lot of you have been suggesting for quite a while. This course is designed for complete beginners, and it's meant to take you from a complete beginner all the way up to the point where you're seeing the charts exactly how I see them, with a whole range of different trading examples with different patterns, indicators, and more. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is definitely not taking away from the normal videos that I post every single day here on the channel. I always like to read your comments in the comment section down below with any feedback that you might have. And so this brand new trading course will basically act as an extra resource for those that actually suggested it. Just like how I get a lot of suggestions to cover a certain altcoin or to do a certain tutorial video, I'll make sure to turn those suggestions projections into a reality, at least so the resources are available for those who suggested it. So I completely understand that this is not for everyone, and moving forward, I will not be mentioning this in every video. I'm only mentioning it right now because I've only just launched it, and so I want to give everyone at least a chance to check it out, because believe me, I've compacted over 4 years worth of research into this single course to give you the absolute most value as I possibly could. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into this rising wedge pattern that is forming on the Ethereum chart right now, which, by the way, for the beginners out there, a rising wedge pattern is a bearish pattern, meaning that it's simply more likely to break to the downside than it is to break to the upside, but it's still not impossible for it to break to the upside. I want to make that clear. And right now, the resistance for this pattern is coming in at around 4,650, right in the middle of that range of resistance that we were just talking about. And the support for this rising wedge pattern is coming in at around 4,430 approximately. And so if we see a confirmed break below this line of support, then the technical price target is towards the bottom of the wedge, which is right now coming in at just below 4,000 US dollars. And by the way, we've got huge amounts of support at that range just there. But with that being said, even though that's the technical price target for this pattern, we still can't ignore those other short-term areas of support that I was mentioning just earlier in the video, because just because a pattern gives us a price target, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to hit that exact price target. It's just to give us an idea of where things are most likely to be heading. But of course, that's only if we see a confirmed break below support. At the time of filming this video, we're still within this pattern, so really it can still go either way, even though it is technically more likely to have a little bit more of a pullback. And by the way, if you want to get these extra real-time updates throughout the day, as soon as these price targets hit, and also for new trade signals and all of that sort of stuff, definitely make sure you're following me over on my Twitter, and the link to my official Twitter is in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video or got something valuable out of it, be sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. I really do appreciate all of your support in the channel at the moment. I can't thank you guys enough. And for the new viewers on the channel, before you click off, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already. I've got a trading tutorial video and a passive income video showing you how I earn passive income every day in the crypto markets. But anyway, that is really everything I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.